Yeah, that's really cool to know because you just seemed so conversational on stage, and I couldn't tell what was riffing versus material, and you did a good job of just kind of
blending it
all in.
Thank you.
So like what percentage is riffing versus you're like, all right, let me slide in material here and kind of get it back? Or...
So I try to do all the new idea stuff in the beginning.
Okay, just get it all out. Yeah.
Because otherwise I'll forget. That my fear is that I'll forget, because once I start getting into my material, my hour now, or the stuff I'm working on now is like a lot of going to the next phase of my life of like feeling like an adult and potentially having kids, maybe we buy a house, like all this stuff is so scary to me, and just kind of processing the fears of like being a parent, understanding my own uncomfortableness and how I don't feel better about it. So like there's like this arc of my childhood and stuff that I'm doing, and that stuff's there and it's good. I'm happy with it. I still make little tweaks and stuff, but I'm overall pretty happy with it. Maybe we'll add in a joke, take one out, move stuff around. But that first part, that's the stuff I'm really excited about. Hunter Biden, CEO. We went to the Coca-Cola Museum, talked about that. Like, all that stuff, I'm, like, really trying to remember. So before I go on stage, that's the stuff I'm like, oh, yeah, that line's funny. Oh, yeah, don't forget to say that. That's pretty good. And then, so that first part, I don't know if you would call that riffing, because I am thinking about it beforehand. But whether it's the first 5, 10, or 20 minutes, that's all the new stuff that I'm just kind of figuring out on stage with the beats and being conversational and all that.
And then you'll listen back and then remember what to piece together the next time, and it just kind of forms all conversationally.
Yes. Yeah, so a lot of, I write a lot of times backwards because this is weird to say, but a lot of times the first time I tell a joke, it goes really well because it just falls out of my face in the way it should be. The second time it doesn't, because I'm trying to repeat the success that I had the first time, and I'm like, how the hell did I say it that first time where it really nailed and the audience just got what I was trying to get out of it? And so that's why I record it either with my camera or audio, because sometimes I listen back and you're like, oh, that's how you said it. You paused here, and then, so the first time I say it, I feel like there's like some sort of magic that comes out and it nails it, and then every time after that I gotta repeat that magic. So I got to really get the beats down and the words. So it kind of works backwards if you think about it. Like it's like the first time the joke does really well, and you're like, hell yeah, I got a new joke. And then the next couple times it's fine, and then so you got to bring it back up again.
Yeah, or sometimes the joke just fades.
And I've had that happen too, where you're like, this joke used to crush. What happened?
One of my favorite jokes right now is like dwindling, and I'm like, where's it going?
I think it's because you've said it too much, and now you're not excited about it.
So almost need to put it away and then come back.
To it. Yeah. Okay. I think that's a really underappreciated technique of like, you have a joke that's doing so well, don't do it too often. Like, do it a lot, but then when you notice it dwindling, maybe put it away for a week. Don't do it this weekend. And then bring it back and see if the magic is there.
And it also creates a vacuum to where you have to find something else to put there as well.
Exactly.
And you're not using it as a crutch as much.
That is so true. Like, there is a benefit to not doing a bit too much, to leave a little rawness to it. Because depending on the type of performer you are, but for me, I think leaving a little rawness to it. Like my last special, Honorary Jones, I had this story about Daryl Jones, who's my boss at the mechanic shop, also a father figure to me. Like he meant a lot to me. He's since passed away, but I was doing this bit, and at the end, I mentioned that he passed away, and it's like an emotional moment. I was like, once I created the bit, I was like, oh, I want this at the end of the special. And I want it to be like the end of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, where you laugh, and then at the end they go to the dinner, so you're like laughing and crying.
Oh, yeah.
And then the credits roll, and you just feel warm inside. I wanted that kind of feeling for the end of the special. So I wanted to tell that story at the end, but I'm not a good actor. So like, to tap into that feeling, I can't say the joke too much. Or otherwise, it's going to just become like any of my jokes that I robotically go through. So that last part where I mentioned that he passed away and the blah, blah, blah part, I only did a couple times. And my wife would be like, you really got to do that part in the special. I'm like, I do, but I also, Originally I was like, I don't want to make the people sad. But then I thought about it. I'm like, it might be good to be raw, a little more raw when you say it for the taping, because it the impact might be better.
Oh, yeah.
And it was. Like, the impact came off exactly how I wanted it to, and it was because I didn't do the joke too much. And so there is a benefit to that.
Yeah, I closed my Dry Bar special with a Joel Osteen impression. And I hadn't really worked it out. I was just like, oh, they're gonna love this. I'm gonna end on an impression. This is the viral clip. Joel Osteen, that. Afterwards, I was like, can y'all sweeten that a little bit? That was, can y'all quick?
Could we all laugh in a room, and can you splice that in? Oh, that's so funny.
And as I kept doing it, it kind of, and I was like, oh no, this is the closer. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, it ended up being fine, but like, I didn't do it that much for that reason of like, oh, this is gonna be fresh and they're gonna love it. And I was like, maybe I should have tested this more first.
Yeah, that's so funny.
But it was, whatever. It was totally fine.
I love that. That's really funny, especially with the cameras. You're like, oh no, this is the end.
Yeah.
And then you're like trying to whip together an end at the end. You're like, hey, remember that guy? Hey, all right, see you later. You try to call back some crowd work or something you did. Oh boy.
But I'm finding myself like you're turning around so many hours, and it's like on my 10-year anniversary, I self-produced a special.
Nice.
Released that. And then a few years later, I did the Dry Bar. And now I'm like in this limbo of, it seems like you're churning stuff out. And I'm still trying to catch my footing on what I want to talk about next and what the theme. And
sure.
I'm kind of in hitting a little inertia right now. How are you staying so productively putting out material?
I've always loved to talk about my day.
Okay.
And my week and what's going on in my life now, whether it's mundane or something actually happened. And sometimes those little bits, even if they go away and they're just throwaway material for that week, there's a section that stays. And I think just the practice of that, of going up every time trying to start different, has helped new material come in, But also everyone works in different ways. No one's on a timeline.
That's true.
It is what works for you. And I also have the fear of like, I heard Mark Maron say that. He's like, and I've heard a couple other comics say it too, but I heard him say it first. He's like, I feel like I'm just writing the same joke different ways. and I was like, wow, that was the fear I was having, that I was scared to verbalize even to myself. But then the comic he was talking to, he's like, I think we all do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This isn't just a me problem. This is kind of everybody. But yeah, you have your sensibilities, you have your fears, you have your things that you talk about on stage, and then they keep coming up in your life just like they do on stage in different ways, and you attack them in a different way. Try to portray them in a different way. But yeah, I always just try to talk about my day and my week, and because that makes it fun for me.
Right.
I don't genuinely enjoy doing the same jokes over and over again, even if they're doing well. Like I'm like inside, like, oh, okay. Like my brain will start drifting instead of being in the moment. And I like to be in the moment. I like that fear. Like I have a tic. Do you ever notice your tics when you watch yourself? Yeah. So when I do a new joke, for some reason, my arm goes like this. Like it's a fear move. And I'll notice it. I'll be like, sometimes I'll look at an old tape of me. I'm like, oh, that's the first time I did that joke. Because my arm's cocked, because I'm afraid of I'm excited, but also afraid of what the response is going to be. I'm like, I hope they love this. But I'm really pumped about it. This arm just It's like this is like it's a weird tic that I have. But but that feeling I love. That's like the part of comedy that I love. The new idea of going up there going, what do you think?
Right.
And so that's why I always try to do that in the beginning. That's why I'm always frustrated if I don't have something. Like where if I go on stage and I'm like, I don't really have anything. I don't even know what I did today. I didn't even do anything. I didn't even have a thought today. I just laid. And that's when I'm sad. And I'm like, I guess we're doing the act.
Yeah, I get caught up in structure so much, I think, of like, when I started out the first several years, I was all one-liners.
Okay.
And I think I keep having that reflex of like, well, there's got to be structure and set up punchline. But I feel like at a certain point, as we do this longer, you could be more conversational and kind of be like use that foundational of understanding how a joke works, but not it doesn't have to fit into every single thing I do. So I catch myself being a little more robotic still in that. But I want to break out of that, you know.
But I mean, you talk robotic. What about that's why I love different styles.
True. Yeah.
Look at Mark Norman.
That's true.
He's
right.
He's one of the best comics working today. Brilliant joke writer, and you can tell from his structure. His structure is amazing. It's like we're going to compare, and then we're going to bring this thing in, and what about this? It's very smart. So, like, you know, don't beat yourself up about how you write, because I can't write that way. Mm-hmm. If I sit down and I go, yeah, but where's this thing, and then we need this, I can't write that way. It doesn't work for me. So you just have to do what works for you. And because I would love, that's why when I was in New York, I was so jealous of a lot of the New York comics. I'm like, man, they know how to start. Like immediately they know how to start. I'm like, how do you start? How do you start? I remember Louis said that once on stage. He goes, I don't know how to start, so I'm just starting the special. And I was like, wow. But I never related to that line more than when I moved to New York and I just watched these people immediately have like a killer opening line that they would use all the time. And I'm like, I don't have an opening line. I'm there. And then it's kind of rocky, and then we get going, you know?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to how you connect with the audience.
Definitely.
You seem very intentional and mindful of creating a connection with the crowd and saying, oh, we're in this together. This is fun. We're in this moment. You would address several times of like, we're all here together type deal. It seems like you're almost warming them up to we're connecting, we're having a moment, and you keep sharing that with them and reminding them of that.
I do that
in an organic way. I don't mean
I actually should do that in a pandering way, but like it would be even better. But I think I do that so it sets the table for me. Mm-hmm. I do all of comedy very selfishly in the sense that it's to set the table for me and what I'm trying to do, you know? So if I'm going to be doing new material and kind of working out thoughts, I really need a receptive audience. So let me set the table. Hey, we're all here together. This is where we're at. You look nice. I compliment people. That's a good smile. Because there's so many comics that just like tear people down. I'm like, well, let me do the opposite. Let me like, oh, look at that bone structure. You know, like let's bring people up, make people feel good and giddy. And then, all right, let me talk about the CEO that got assassinated.
Right.
And then you bring out, you know, it's like I'm like a waiter that doesn't eat at the restaurant he serves. You know, and he's like, well, let me at least be really nice because I don't know if this next dish is gonna be that great. But remember, you liked your server, and so that's how you can like. That's how I kind of show dark material. Sometimes like darker for me material. By being super nice, and I set the table really well.
And smiling.
And
doing
smiling.
It with a smile helps.
Dude, smiling while you say something that you know not everyone will be on board for is really helpful for me, and I think for other people too. But yeah.